fun prevails. Tents pop up under the pine tree shade. Doggy laughter, best plans we've made. The leashes tangle, tails take flight, paws on the ground, hearts so light. Greetings bark from near and far, every pup's a shining star. Doggy days under the sun, campfire glow when the day is done. Chasing dreams, wagging away, Clear Lake magic in every stay.
Good morning, Crafties. May the 2nd, 2025. We are the second day here at Clear Lake Campground. It's Friday. Most all of the other girl campers will be coming in today. And then tonight we'll have dinner and a speaker and some other good things. So stay tuned for more. What are you doing up there?
My awning strap is wrapped up.
Oh no.
So I was going to see if I could push it out a little and get it. But I don't think I'm
No.
able to.
No. You're under the trees. You're fine.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if I could do it.
No. Be careful up there. And there's Linnell coming in with her cute little cowgirl trailer. Hi, Linnell! Evelyn and Ida have made it. Yay! She's here. She's got her site and gonna get hooked up and ready to party.
That's it.
And here comes Lisa. She's gonna give you all your paperwork and stuff. All right. Blue heron just landed over here across the creek. See if I can zoom in on him. There he is. He or she. Right there. Beautiful birds. When he landed, his full wingspan was open, but of course he's just there now. There's a little goose, Canadian goose, going up that part of the creek too. Pretty bird. There he is. My friend Shelley said he landed right on the railing the other day, and she's going to send me a picture that she took. The table, all the name tags. We're gonna get books and hats and bags, all kinds of fun stuff. And they're setting up the table for dinner. Looks like we're having some hot dogs and cheese and snacks and all kinds of goodies here. Let's see, Tammy. Very cool. We got hats, we got bags, we got magazines. We're sitting around waiting for dinner.
I'm glad you all could make it. In your bags, you will find the itinerary for the weekend. Very short and simple. And then you'll also find a list of everybody's names. So you'll be able to write, if you connect with somebody, write their number down or what their trailer looked like or any special moments you had with them. Then whether you go to another Girl Camper event or you see them out camping, you'll start to get to know everybody in the area. You'll also meet new friends and run into old ones too. So welcome to Doggy Days. And this is we're going on our fourth year doing this? Third year doing this. And so Val is going to be coming in. Val is from Send Rover over. She's going to be coming in about 6 o'clock and get a chat with all of us. Talk about dog behaviors, any questions that you all may have. Following tomorrow, and she's also going to talk about safety and health and just basics of taking care of your dog or anything specifically that you may want. Don't be shy, ask questions. She's really nice. She's been around for a long time and has dealt with a lot of dog behaviors. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a little bit of kind of musical and some agility, and we're going to go out to check the place out in Lakeport.
The Hawaiian pork and rice is delicious. We've got the window thing going on over there.
Yeah, I like it.
All that.
Yes. That's my cue. So, hi everybody. I am Val from Send Rover on Over, which is a doggy daycare and training center in Lakeport, California. And I was here last year, and I am just really starting to pick up on those same good vibes. Camping chicks with dogs. Okay. So who was here last year? I don't know if this quite. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so almost everybody. Okay. So I see some familiar faces. What we're going to talk about tonight is, just for those of you that don't know me, I have opened 4 doggy daycares over the past 20 years, and I'm a certified pet dog trainer, and I have a degree in animal science and behavior analysis. And I was an emergency room for 27 years, an emergency room nurse, and I opened a doggy daycare. So what we're going to talk about tonight is, Dominica asked me to talk about foxtails. And you know what? I mean, we could probably talk about that for an hour, but I also incorporated some other summer issues that you might have some questions about, or that we're going to come across. A lot of this stuff is basic and you might know, and my philosophy is if I take a class and I learn at least one new thing, that it was totally worth it, right? So we're going to talk about heat stroke, fleas and other summer bugs, rattlesnake bite prevention, foxtails, and what else do I have on there? Dogs can get sunburned. So I'm going to use, I have some notes. Lisa, will you take a picture? Foxtails. So what do we do about foxtails? It's mostly prevention, okay? So when you take your dogs out in the summer, if you see that there are foxtail plants, try and keep them out of there. But a lot of people, they enjoy their pets off leash, and if your dogs do get into foxtails, then when you get them home, you want to take a good look and you want to brush them out. Take a fine-tooth comb and search for any foxtails and just try and remove them, okay? Foxtails are nasty, the nastiest sticker burr that your dogs can come in contact with, and they can do a lot of damage. I didn't bring photos, but you can look up photos of dogs with foxtails in their eyes, in their nose, in their ears. The most common place is the feet and the belly. And so some of the things that you can do is keep your dog's feet trimmed up. Another thing that you can do is they actually have foxtail helmets that your dog can wear if it's a big concern you want to let them to go out. But keeping them out of the foxtails and checking them when you get home is the best course of prevention, okay? If you suspect that your dog has a foxtail, they usually migrate through the feet. And they also can latch onto hairs, and it's not a tentacle, but they make their way and they burrow into the skin. And they don't travel in the veins or the vessels, but they travel under the skin, and they can penetrate tissue and vital organs. So some of the symptoms that dogs will behave like, so if they're licking their paws, then they might have a foxtail in their paw. If they're doing any head shaking, they might have a foxtail in their ears. or any pawing at the eyes, okay? And you want to take a look at that. If your dog has an embedded foxtail, you can actually soak it in warm water and try and remove it with a pair of tweezers. If you can do that, that's your best initial effort. If the foxtail has already penetrated the skin and it's red and infected and you can't get it out, then you will have to go to the vet. Okay? So, and they'll probably have to sedate your dog to get that out. So the next thing we're going to talk about is rattlesnakes and rattlesnake bites. So a lot of people participate in rattlesnake avoidance clinics, and we'll talk about how to find a good one and the different types of rattlesnake clinics. But rattlesnakes like foxtails, the best cure is prevention, okay? So if you are venturing out and hiking during rattlesnake season, and when the sun comes out, the snakes come out. So the best course of action is to keep your dog on a leash. A lot of you guys have sweet dogs, you know, and a lot of times you just want to let them off leash, and if they venture out, then they're at high risk for getting a rattlesnake bite. Rattlesnake bites aren't always fatal. If your dog is bitten by one, it's recommended that you do take them to the vet. Anti-venom is about $300 a vial. Anti-venom is the treatment for a rattlesnake bite. If you have to take your dog to get treated, depending upon how much they weigh, it's $300 a vial, so it could cost you up to $1,200 to treat your dog. The location of the bite on the body also is significant. A bite on the foot is not as dangerous as a bite on the face, which could potentially cause some airway problems. One of the things you want to do is you want to contact your local vet and find out if they do keep anti-venom in stock. Not all vets keep it in stock. And when you're traveling and hiking, you want to know which vets in the community keep anti-venom in stock and if they're open on the day that you're planning your activity. So the rattlesnake vaccine will buy you time to get to the vet. And the rule of thumb for timelines is you have approximately 30 minutes to get to a vet after your dog has been bitten. What the rattlesnake vaccine does is it's supposed to provide antibodies in your dog's system to fight off anti-venom until you can get to the vet. Rattlesnakes don't want to bite anything because once they've bitten an individual, they are now prey. The amount of energy that they exert to bite something and use their venom, it reduces their energy to fend off predators. So they would rather not. One of my dogs actually walked up to a full-grown, ginormous rattlesnake and went nose to nose with me, beating a leash on the ground. Leave it, come here. Nose to nose. Oh my gosh, I will never forget this day. And ran back to me. Did you see that? Walked away unscathed. Let's talk about rattlesnake avoidance clinics, because there are 3 different types. So you can have a rattlesnake avoidance clinic that is non-aversive, where the trainer will teach you to get a really strong recall, okay, every time it sees anything that looks like a snake. And then you can have a semi-non-aversive clinic where people use citronella collars. But if the dog considers the citronella collar to avert them from rattlesnakes, then that's going to work. But the problem with that is that dogs need to rely on smelling a rattlesnake to avert them and divert them. Rattlesnakes have very distinct smells. Some people have described it as smelling like cucumber juice, if you can imagine that. But the most effective rattlesnake avoidance clinic will be used with an e-collar or a shock collar. And if you go to those types of clinics, you want to make sure that the person putting that kind of voltage on your dog is experienced, that they know about dogs, that they know how much juice to apply for your dog's age, breed, and energy level, and that they just don't shock them into, 20 feet of oblivion. Heat-related issues, okay? So this is also known as heat exhaustion or hyperthermia. And this is caused when the dog is not able to reduce their body temperature, and dogs regulate their body temperature through panting. They don't sweat like we do. So they can only pant so much, right? So heat exhaustion is also very preventable. So you never want to leave your dog in a hot parked car. A car that is 80 degrees can reach 100 degrees in just 10 minutes. Did you guys know that there are actually 8 states that support what's called a Good Samaritan Act that will allow you to break a window if you see an animal in distress in a vehicle? And California is one of those states. So don't be afraid to grab a brick and have a heyday with breaking some person's window for leaving their dog in the car. And squishy-faced dogs are more prone to heat issues than dogs with longer noses that can pant better. So dogs with squishy-faced noses, so that's your Pekingese, your Boston Terriers, what else? Your Pugs, what else? Frenchies, yeah. Yep, all those guys. Okay, so those guys, you have to be extra careful. They are extra sensitive. Okay, so make sure they don't spend a lot of time in the sun. Keep your house cool. Make sure your dog has enough fresh water. And there are things that we can do to keep them cool. We can make them homemade popsicles out of broth. We can make yard ices with treats. Fill a great big bowl with water and cookies and put that out in the middle of the grass, and they can just lick on that all day. That's an expensive way to keep them cool. You can freeze some Kongs. Does everybody know what a Kong is? Yeah. It's a device you can put food and treats, and you can put treats and peanut butter and things in there. You can make, you can turn on the sprinklers for your dog. You can get a little kiddie pool. You can set up misters. You could freeze, put some wet bandanas in the freezer. Put those on your dog on hot days. You can wet towels for them to lay on. You can use squirt bottles, and you can use fans. What does heat exhaustion look like? Well, in the beginning, your dog is panting a lot, and it's going to be hot. So you're going to want to try and conduct heat reducing measures before your dog has a heat stroke. If your dog goes into a heat stroke, sunken eyebrows, thick drool, delirium, acting unusual, unsteady on their feet, they're in a serious condition, and that's when you need to go to the vet. If your dog will still drink water or broth, then you might be okay. Then you can just take a chance and supervise them. But if they can't drink water, and if they won't keep water down, if they drink it and they throw up, then they need to be hydrated with IV therapy for that. Okay? And check your dog's temperature. If it's anything 103 and over is a serious temperature for a dog, and you want to start immediate cooling measures. Don't cool them off with really cold water. You want to use just lukewarm temperatures, cool water, but not cold, not ice water. And you can pat them down under their armpits and around their ears and their feet. And that's usually sufficient to try and get them cooled off. Dog is suffering from heat exhaustion. His pulse is also going to be rapid. Does everybody know where to check your dog's pulse? The best place is behind the rear groin, and if you just kind of push up against where there's a crease in between, yeah, right in there. Our coat off, we're cooler, but your dog's fur is like insulation on a house. Your house insulation is supposed to keep you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. And that was a perfect description of why not to shave your dog, and you have an amazing grooming business. And if you take your dog to your groomer and say shave them, and they don't educate you, right, then you want to have a little discussion with them about that. So so that was perfect. Did everybody get that? So you don't want to shave your dogs. Dogs have double coats and triple coats, and what we do want to do is brush them. Cuts. So you do a lot of brushing. You can trim, okay, and you can also use something called a furminator. Right. Furminator gets the undercoat out, and that will help keep your dog comfortable. And the furminator's claim to fame is also a clean house. You know, like, people get these short-haired dogs thinking, I don't want a dog that sheds. The short-haired dogs are the shedders. So, and people will even take their dogs back or to shelters or the pound, say this dog sheds too much. Okay, so don't shave your dogs. That interrupts what is called the thermoregulation system, where they stay cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Okay, so seasonal allergies. I had a call the other day from a client, and she says, my dog is coughing. Do you have any other coughing dogs? Because usually, because I have a daycare, it's kennel cough about every 6 months. and I say, can you send me a video? She sent me a video. I asked all the staff, anybody coughing? I hadn't heard anybody coughing. And so seasonal allergies would be a good thing. But other things that make your dog cough are kennel cough, congestive heart failure, pulmonary edema, and serious things, and we don't want that. There are 3 different types of medicine that if you want to try it at home, you would have to look up the doses or call your vet and say, hey, I think my dog has allergies. Benadryl, Claritin, and Zyrtec are 3 over-the-counter medicines that you can give your dog if you suspect they have allergies or hives even. So that's one way to treat seasonal allergies is with sunburn is another thing that we want to talk about as far as heat goes. So short-haired dogs, light-colored dogs, dogs with super thin fur are at risk for getting sunburn. So some people want to put sunscreen on their dogs, but human-grade sunscreen is not good for your dogs and it can actually be toxic. So that's one thing you want to be careful of. It's got PABA and zinc oxide in regular sunscreen for people. So you don't want to use sunscreen for people. You want to use sunscreen made for dogs, or you can also use sunscreen made for children that doesn't have the PABA and the zinc oxide in it. The other thing I want to talk about, okay, so fleas and ticks and bugs, oh my. None of us like creepy crawlies, but the summertime is when they come out, okay? So I am a fan of things that are more natural, and I have to share things that have been known to cause dogs to get very sick, have seizures, and even die. So 3 of the things that are listed as being the most toxic flea and tick control products are Seresto. Seresto was related to 1,700 pet deaths over the past few years, and Brevecto was noted to cause the most concerns possible linked to the most pet deaths. Now, one of these is a collar, the Seresto. The other one is Brevecto, and I forgot to look it up, but I think that's the ingestible. So when you are treating your dogs for fleas and ticks, you want to think, if you didn't want fleas and ticks on you, would you take a shot of, what's that weed killer called? Roundup? Would you take a shot of Roundup? Okay? Because that's the same thing as giving your dog an ingestible flea product. I understand that we trust our vets, and our vets do provide us with these things, and I would never say don't trust your vet. But before you give these products, just do a little bit of research for yourself and advocate for your dogs, okay? So what are you doing today? So what I'm going to talk about right now real quick are microchips and how effective they are. And I like to say dog collars with embroidered names and phone numbers, dog tags with phone numbers, a secondary number, but microchips, and you need to update them. So my son-in-law firefighters in Rancho Cucamonga. The first person that owned this dog lives in Rancho Cucamonga. The person lives 3 doors down, met that person halfway, an hour and a half away, to transport this dog to 3 hours away from their home. But they found, because of the microchip, but had it been updated, would have been much more convenient, okay? So true story, my firefighter son-in-law in Rancho Cucamonga goes down the street, 3 miles down the street, and picks up his dog, takes it back to the convention. And so there was a happy ending. But just so you know, so many people, they have their dogs with microchips, but they don't update the information. So
Val is the owner of Bring Rover on Over, which is located here in Lakeport, California. It's a doggy daycare and agility training center. We'll be going over there tomorrow, but she's very knowledgeable, and I really enjoyed her talk on dog safety. And this is Lisa, and she's here at Doggy Days with us, and her dog is Duffy. And I love this dog with all the pretty colors. Now, I heard you say you have a grooming business.
I do.
So that's why she looks so cute.
Yep, I have a doggy business in Sacramento.
What is the name of it?
It's Bath and Biscuits.
Bath and Biscuits in Sacramento. So look her up if you're there so she can do this to your dog.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Doggy Days has started. Friday, May the 2nd. We all had the meet and greet We got our bags, which ate dinner, and really enjoyed ourselves. They had a campfire with s'mores, but Snickers and I came back. It was after 7. It was getting chilly, so we just came back to the RV. Maybe we'll go tomorrow night. We'll see. So if you liked this video of the beginning day of Doggy Days, give me that thumbs up. Comment, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to join. Just click the join button, and I have 3 levels of membership. They all have their own special badges, perks, and gifts. Very good. Thank you for watching.